Peace, everybody. I'm your host, Vina, and welcome to Confession Corner, a space where Black young adults are able to talk about self-actualization, self-realization, and mental health. I am with a very special guest today. Y'all have known her in season 1, and here she is reappearing in season 2.
Ooh, hey y'all. Y'all heard that too? She did.
It's giving Baltimore on my tongue, on my mind. I got it. Ooh. I love it.
Hey.
So I'm going to let her go ahead and introduce herself and who she is and get into it and talk about your stuff.
Oh, I got to introduce myself this time around.
You want me to talk about
It's new.
you?
But no, it's new, y'all. I am Roe Vision. I'm a multidisciplinary illustrator. Pretty much focusing on creating artwork that really just focus on Black women and the things that we go through, touching on topics like racial tension, colorism, and different social issues.
Ooh. Illuminate. Illustrator.
Oh, yes.
Because that's where it comes from. I learned that from you.
Period. And I love my professor in college. We went to Morgan State University. He actually gave me the language to describe what I am. When he first saw my work, I had came in under graphic designer. And he was like, why are you a graphic designer, Rochelle? And I'm like, because that's what I am. And he was like, no, you're not. You're an illustrator. And I'm like, well, how the hell you know? He like, because I've seen your work. So the word illustrator comes from the word illuminate, which means to shed light on. And that's basically what I do in my artwork.
On all
so
the
I am an
various,
illustrator. Yes.
On the different topics, on the different situations, and then you become into the light. She does that. She does all of it. And it's beautiful. Is there anything you're doing right now? Last time we had talked, you were in a lot of stuff. You were doing a lot of things.
I have done a lot of things since season 1.
Since season 1. That was like almost... No, that was like a couple of months ago. So within that time span, what have you accomplished? What have you done?
Damn, that was months. I was thinking it was years.
No.
It was months.
Look at you.
So yeah, since we last spoke, I did the Disney partnership. I partnered with GBC, which stands for Greater Baltimore Committee. I recently painted the ceilings in the Empanada Lady restaurant, which is amazing. If y'all in Baltimore, make sure y'all go see.
It's so good. It's so good. The salmon ones, the turkey empanadas.
You talking about the empanadas?
Yeah.
I was about to say, make sure you.
I'm
you
talking
say
about
what
you. I'm talking about you next. But give me that. Give me that one
talking about
first.
the food, y'all.
Give me about the food first. Very good. very good. So good. But I want to talk about when we went there for the grand opening, and I saw some of your work already, like on via Instagram and stuff like that and pictures. I'm like, oh, okay, this is very, very nice, but understanding that you actually painted the ceiling is giving Michelangelo.
It is giving Michelangelo.
It's giving Michelangelo. You're bent upside down almost throughout the whole day, like painting and stuff like that. Like, what did you think about that at first? Were you like, oh, I can't do this? Or like, oh,
First of all, I'm cracking up because you're talking to me like you don't be right next to me when I'm doing these things. This is my best friend, y'all. This is my best friend,
I gotta
y'all.
act like a little bit.
Yeah.
I seen it firsthand. I was like, damn, that's a lot of strength. You, but yeah, how did you first feel when the idea was proposed to you about that?
So when the idea was first proposed, it was pretty much, first of all, the space looked completely different from how it looks right now. The walls weren't painted, the columns were completely different, and the ceiling pennants were all white. Like, it was just a completely different space and feeling from what you see now. And I remember Sola, shout out to Sola.
Hey, Sola.
Hey, Sola girl, one of the co-founders of Black Ass Flea Market. Okay. She was basically like, Rochelle, we need a design for these ceiling pennants. But the whole thing was, Elisa wanted the restaurant to be super duper colorful. Now, we had to find a strategic way to do this so that the colors don't clash, because the furniture and everything in there was going to be colorful as well. So it was like, we need these ceiling pennants to go off. Sola's exact words, we need a hard ass design, but still tying everything together tastefully.
Right, nothing too much, but just enough for us to bring everything together.
Just enough, because despite the fact that it's going to be colorful, the walls are actually black. It's blacked out in there. So it had to kind of stick out, but also tie in the colors of the couches very effortlessly. So came up with a couple designs, discussed it over with Sola. We made like a few minor tweaks here and there, but pretty much she liked what I had came up with, and we went from there.
The process of doing it, I know I was on the phone with you for like a majority of the time. Well, sometimes when you were painting and stuff like that. When you first started doing it, like after the first day of like completing this session with just painting on the ceiling, how did that feel?
Man, after the first day, I was like, this shit hurt. This shit hurt. Especially, I kind of underestimated the toll it would take on my body, just even painting ceilings, you know, having to be up the entire time. Now, there are different other like machines and stuff like that I could have used to help aid with that, but I was on a ladder. And this whole thing was definitely a learning experience. I know moving forward what I do need to rent out, if I need to rent anything and stuff like that. That would just make my job a little bit more easy. But this time around, you know, you don't know until you know.
You're like, damn, all right,
you gotta thug it out. So in reality, I was only in there for about 2 weeks, but it felt like forever. I remember I was talking to, I think it was Brianna. She's like, how long you been doing this? I was like, forever. At least it was like, bitch, it's only been 2 weeks. I was like, oh, you're right.
And you knocked it out. You knocked it out very well, especially for the time frame that you did have.
Yeah.
It was very meticulous. It was very much, it needs to be on this date, because I know the grand opening was on a specific date, and it's like, damn.
There were timelines that, of course, ended up getting pushed back and stuff like that, but I was on a strict timeline, and I've never painted anything up like that on the ceiling, so I wasn't able to factor in that takes longer, because it takes a toll on your body. It hurts. So now I'm taking more breaks, which prolongs the process. But like I said, all this was definitely a learning experience, a dope one at that. I'm so happy.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm so happy.
I was so proud of you.
I was a part of that.
That's really like some. Did you paint this ceiling?
It's crazy. It's the whole thing, because like I said, the restaurant is a complete 180 from where it started with. Like, just being so proud of Elisa and
too,
the creative team, to the guy that did the floors, and like, it's so.
It takes a lot.
It takes a lot. It really takes a village. And just knowing, like, you know, her mission statement and what she stands for and everything else, I'm so happy.
Yeah, to be a part of that. Yeah. It's giving monumental, okay?
Love her.
So the GBC event, how was that for you? Because I saw the video on Instagram. I saw the behind the scenes of it too. And I was like, she's just knocking all these big projects out the way, child. You doing it at a certain... And what makes it so much more intense is the time frame that you have. You be like, yeah, I got like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I'm like, you got
crazy. What? Now I'm not doing stuff like that no more. I am like I am definitely making sure everyone understands, like, no, I need a certain amount of time to do this. But the GBC mural actually came right before Elisa's restaurant. Right. So it was like, I finished that. We did the, because it was for their annual meeting. The event happened, and then I had like 2 days of rest, and then I had to get started on the ceilings. Right. So everything was pretty much back to back. But the GBC mural was a lot. So much, because it was so big. I don't even remember the actual dimensions. I just know, first of all, my mom built the mural.
Shout out to Ms. Linda.
Yeah, she's a wood crafter. So she built the entire thing, but the way I had her do it was break it up into 12 large pieces so that I could paint it in my house, because I'm no longer at a studio right now. Right. So I didn't have anywhere to do it, so I had to do it in my apartment. And so we just broke it up and did it there, tried to thug it out. The carpet's destroyed, but it is what it is. And
doing that, how was that experience? Like the main event or like the final project of it, how was that for you?
Now, the event was beautiful. I've never been to anything like that, you know.
You was among some people, child. Yeah, you was among some That's a whole long.
But all of these projects are really just learning experiences. I learned a completely different set of skills doing that one. And then just also how to carry myself and articulate what it is that I need, and in like the time frame that I need.
Right.
Because that's important. Yeah, it's very important. I have to set boundaries. It's like, okay, because I also did the tote bag designs. Now it's like, you know, we can do revisions, but there only needs to be a certain amount. Like, we not going past this amount. I think for that project, it was a lot of back and forth, longer than what I would have liked it to be and what it needed to be, just because, you know, just people change their minds or whatever. But you need to get it together the first 2 times around. So that really kind of opened my eyes to how I need to move as a business.
Ooh, okay.
As a business, because it's different. And like, as an artist, we are, you know, entrepreneurs. We're artpreneurs, whatever they call it. Like it's like a word they call
That's
it for
a new
us.
one.
Yeah, no, it's a thing. I didn't make it up. But
it's giving entrepreneur like.
But you can only
go ahead.
Entrepreneur. But you can only learn these things by going through them and learning. So it was a good learning experience. Even the woman that brought me on, she's a boss bitch. And a lot of times, like, we was like bumping heads a little bit, and I was like, I want to be so mad. But this is the way you gotta conduct yourself as a Black woman, like, of that power,
that caliber. You have to, because it's so important, especially the position that you're in, because it makes more of the difference.
She did her job. Now, whether or not that clashed with me and what I had going on, whatever, she did her job to the best of her ability, and she is so good at what she do. I really look up to her so much. That's a boss bitch.
I've encountered a few people, especially like in the social work, mental health profession, where it's like some doctors, some other like professors and stuff like that, and I've had, I don't want to say bad encounter, but like clashes, and I'm like challenging them on certain things. They're challenging me, and I'm like,
because it's really not a clash, because there's no beef there, but it's just uncomfortable. You're in like, a different zone.
Just let me do it. And they're like, no, I need to understand why you're doing this and what this needs to be. And I'm like, okay, I'm learning. I'm learning. As frustrated as I may be or may have been, it's like, okay, let me just use this and take it into like what I want to do, because I'm learning and taking out the meat, taking out the bones, and putting them somewhere else. So that's good. Now we're gonna get into the Disney, because I'm working my way down from the three things. What did you learn from that? Like Disney, like it's giving thing on Disney Channel, what they used to do, like
with the wand. Nah, Disney was definitely cool.
Like Disney.
So happy, so happy Disney. You know, we are Disney fanatics. Girls. We are Disney fanatics.
Call me Jasmine. I'm not a lady.
Boo.
Bye, please.
Boo. But so yeah, Disney had came out with the movie Strange World. Super cute movie, love it. They wanted to find different ways to market it, so they decided to do an iPad giveaway. Now, originally it was supposed to be 10 iPads. I think it might have got knocked down to 5. I'm not quite sure how many they used, but I did paint 10 iPad cases. So they wanted an artist to paint the cases to give away with the iPads. So the cases had different scenes from the movie. It was pretty cool. Another, daunting timeline, but made it through so glad. Another learning experience.
I was gonna say, it was through the thick of it.
These things be back to back to back.
It was a lot. I don't know. What was it? A month, maybe.
Yeah, I had a month. I had a month.
And I wanted to let y'all know, like, she's everything
they
is
were hand painted.
It's hand.
Midas touch, no fingers.
Hand painted, all original work. And just to do that in a certain time frame is extraordinary, because most people have been like, okay, let me get like an airbrush. Let me get, not, putting down anybody that uses any type of things to system, because I understand, like, it may not be as easy for somebody to do that. But for you to use your hands, paintbrush, whatever it is, and that's it. That's crazy. And it's on iPad cases. I don't know if y'all know the material of the iPad. It's like what, rubber? Is it like rubber, silicone, something? So
these cases were like, I feel like, I don't think they were silicone. They might have been, but it was like some type of rubber material. I really got to look up, because they canvas. No, it wasn't. Like, but they did partner with like another brand, and they were the ones that provided the cases. So I probably should. I think they're called PETA. I don't know.
I know it's not canvas, no, it's not wood, or it's anything that's hard, solid, like that's easy to paint on, like.
And with stuff like that, you have to be very particular with how you prep it. So if I would have just took it and painted directly on it, the paint would have peeled off. So I had to prep it differently, and it took me doing like different types of research on it, things that I should have done ahead of time, blah blah blah. But it's all a learning experience. So instead of just painting directly onto it, I also made like little scratches and stuff like that on the case.
So
that
you did do that.
Yeah.
And that's so
literally like messing up the case, like getting that top layer off just so the paint could stick to it better.
For you to do that. I'm so proud of you.
I'm
so proud to see you mature as an artist. if that makes sense.
Thank you, yeah.
And to mature as an artist, because not saying that nothing that you have done was immature or less than, but just to see the growth. It's like, okay, I know that you're good at this, but let me see what else you can expand into. Because I want to say, like, what, like 5 years ago, if you was like, I'm pretty sure somebody was like, you got paint on the ceiling. You're like, okay, like, I guess I can paint on it, like, you know what I'm saying? But and I know you're not fearful of any new challenge or anything like that.
Not
so
at all.
That's
not at all. I be jumping head first, but I really do owe it to the women in our circle, you included. You know, y'all definitely help push me. Brienne, Sola, like Yana, everyone that's around, pretty much. All aid to that
and getting into that. And this is, I like to say, this is like grown, like this is your grown woman artist time. Like,
hey, I love it.
You're like grown woman body. No, this is your grown woman artist. Like,
I love it. I saw a quote where it said, when the child is healed, that's when the woman shows up.
Ooh.
Yes, and I was thinking to myself, because, you know, I'm working on a series called Black Girl in Wonderland. Growing up, Alice in Wonderland was my favorite movie. But as I'm coming up with these different paintings that I'm doing, I kind of felt like it was also healing the part where I was a child. And the child that clings on to this movie so much. So, like, it's so dope to see the transformation. So dope.
So good. So that gives us leeway into our topic.
Let's hear it, because you was hogging the topic like you couldn't share it.
I like to give it a surprise.
Let's hear it.
So the topic is, we're talking about adulthood and just embracing adulthood.
Ew.
The most ghettoest of hoods. The most ghettoest.
The most dangerous of hoods. Hate it.
Of adulthood. Just diving into that and how you embrace that and the different things that you notice within adulthood. Just when everything like clicks, like that, everything clicks type of moment when you realize you was an adult. Some of the things that you grieved or are grieving from early 20s, late teenage years to like late 20s, early 30s. And how do you maintain that type of like flow of getting into adulthood and just pushing through that? So we're going to get into that right now. But the first thing I want to ask you is, what was your first idea? Like when you was younger, I want to say maybe like teenage years, or when did you start thinking about adulthood? Like, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to be this. Like, it was like a concrete idea, not like when you was like 5, 6, I'm going to be a doctor. Like,
yeah.
When did you start thinking about that?
So, like, I don't know. When I really think about what I thought adulthood was, or like being older was, now at my big ass age, I'm like, those are fucking babies. So like,
it's so funny. It's like, I wanted to be an actress so bad.
For real?
Girl, what? My name on everything was Miss Hollywood V, Miss Hollywood 1 2 3 4, Miss Hollywood, like.
That is really funny, because you be acting like you got stage fright sometimes. Like, that's so funny.
Sometimes when I was little, I didn't know what to say out my mouth sometimes. Like, I'll just be like, hey, y'all. And I'll be scared I'm going to say, like, some crazy stuff or, like, something that's corny. People are like, oh, okay. Like,
girl.
I'm so serious.
But I definitely could see you doing that, though.
Yeah. I felt like I went to auditions and everything.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Girl, it was given.
Like the commercials, like, on the radio and shit. Do they even do that anymore?
I don't know, but I remember one time I had did it, and they was like, okay, thank you so much. And I had stopped and I said, wait, I could do it in English accent too. Girl. Go ahead, I'm sorry. I'm
Mina
sorry.
the queen, y'all. Mina the queen.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think when I was younger, this gotta be real young though, because what I thought was adulthood.
Keep talking.
What I thought, oh, thank you. What I thought was adulthood probably really wasn't. Like, it was, for some reason, I used to equate it to commercials a little bit. You remember, like, the Bratz commercials? Like, so with these Barbies and, like, My Scene and,
okay.
Girl, like, all these commercials, they also showed, like, cartoon versions of them, like, in the commercials. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I do.
And they looked a little older, so I thought they were a little older, and I just remember having this idea about, like, oh, when I get older, my lifestyle's gonna be like that. And it was such a cute thing, but it was a commercial, though. And like it was like that kind of thing. And then you see movies or TV shows like 16, and
oh yeah,
nigga 16 ain't like that.
It's not like that.
But
at
being
all.
young, you think it is, you know. And then you also realize 16 ain't shit. Like you're young as shit. 21 ain't shit for real. You're still a
18,
baby.
no, it's 18.
It's 18.
It's 18.
It's really 18
and then it's
too.
like 18, and then it's like 21, and it's like,
yeah.
25 lit though. I'm gonna say that. 25 is
Man,
lit.
25 is a crazy age. But yeah, that's pretty much. I never really had a set thing that I wanted to do when I got older. I remember at one point in time, I did want to be a lawyer. And then
that's nice on you.
Yeah, it was cute. My mom
Shaw.
definitely wanted me to go into the political field or whatever, but then after that, it kind of turned to graphic design, and then I wanted to be a graphic designer from like high school. That was probably like 11th grade year. Trust me, 9th through 10th wasn't really doing shit for real.
Right.
But all the way up until I got to college and went in as graphic design, and then my professor was like, "You're not a graphic designer.
Okay, you're an illustrator."
Yeah, you're an illustrator.
She said illustrator.
So, yeah.
I think that it's kind of it was an ongoing type of thought for me, because when I was like younger, I went to summer camp, and I would see some of my counselors. They were like young 20-year-olds, mid-20s, just like summer jobs. And I used to be like, yo, I know once I'm like 20-something, I know it's going to be lit. Like, I know I'm going to be able to have fun. Like, these guys will also have my own. I know it's going to be lit.
Yeah.
Per se, like I said, I already wanted to be like an actress. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have fun like this and be an actress. Wow, adulthood must be great, because especially from like my mom's perspective, she would make it seem like when you got your own, you can do whatever, this and the third. Because I'll tell like, oh, I want to go to the mall. Oh, I want to go do something, whatever. She's like, well, when you get your own, I'm like, damn, I can't wait till I have my own. Like, I want to get up and be able to maneuver on my own terms without having to ask anybody for anything. And that kind of was my idea, not glorifying it too much or making like a glam type of lifestyle, but I just like the freedom.
Yeah.
I was taught at a young age that, when you're an adult, it comes with a lot of responsibilities, especially for my dad. My dad was telling me a whole bunch of things like credit, the realness of like money management. Like, he was really hard on that.
Yeah.
And just making sure that if you can't, this is the biggest thing, you can't borrow from if you don't have it on your own, don't borrow it from nobody.
Yeah.
And that really, him and my mom, like, you get your own.
Yeah.
That was the biggest staple. Do you feel as if that you were taught certain skills that you carried into adulthood now? Did you start to learn certain things as you went?
Yeah, there were definitely certain skills that were taught to me. Wait, first and foremost, though, I do want to acknowledge that me coming into adulthood was also me realizing that when I was younger, these quote-unquote adults that we did see, like our camp counselors and stuff like that, actually weren't adults.
They weren't.
We just thought they were so old. Like, they actually weren't.
They're like our age right now.
Yeah, and like even when I look at Yana's a teacher and stuff like that. Yana is definitely young, but she started when she was younger. So now I be thinking back, like, how many of my teachers growing up were actually young. Too? Right? So when I came into adulthood and I realized, oh, your adulthood you don't really dive into adulthood until you get to a little bit of the later years in your 20s. Like, that's when shit really starts to hit. Right. And that's when you feel your grownness, because it's like, okay. I
gotta start making a structure, girl.
Yeah.
I want to like say like that is the day I realized, I was like, oh my God. Like, I'm a whole adult. I gotta, regardless of paying for certain things, like bills and stuff, that's an addition and they suck. Yeah. But just the social aspect, the circle changes, and like I said, like seeing things my mom and my dad had told me start to come into light. And now, it was a quote on Twitter. It was like, I wanted to tell my mama she was always right, but I ain't like her tone.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what it be. And
it's like, damn.
I think what my mom instilled in me is taking accountability. Now, much of my adulthood have come to realize, like, you gotta be accountable for the shit that you do,
right.
the things that you say, how you react, all of that. And a lot of adults around here are walking around not taking accountability for the shit that they do. Like, it's really not that deep, for real. Just own up to the shit that you do. And
people's pride be in the way.
Yeah, and it don't even be that deep. I feel that way about taking accountability and lying, because we are too old to be lying.
To be lying on anything, for anything. Like, anything. Lying takes too much work. I'll be telling everybody, like, I'm a bad liar.
Anything.
I can keep things to myself, but if you ask me straight up, I'm going to be like, yeah.
Anything.
Because what am I lying for? If I did something, granted, if it's something I'm not proud of course.
Dog, just apologize.
I'm apologize.
Like, just apologize.
I'm not sorry. I'm not saying, I'm sorry. No, I apologize because X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, what are we lying for? It takes so much strength to keep up with a lie too, and I don't really have that movement in me. I don't got that fight in me.
It's really not that deep. So, like, one thing about it, as an adult, I make sure I'm always truthful. Like, I take accountability. If, let's say, I hurt your feelings, no, those were not my intentions, but I do apologize for, for doing that. Yeah. Like, of course, I'm not out here intentionally. No one really is, unless they're just, fucked up, whatever. I don't know.
Some people are crazy.
Yeah,
some
but
people are evil.
Any human in their right mind, they're not out here intentionally trying to cause harm to anyone else.
Right.
So it's really no need to
go ahead and do that.
Just go ahead and take accountability and move on. That and stealing. My mom instilled that. Not to steal. One time, one time I did. She had me go back. She had me take the shit back and apologize. And she didn't even go in there with me. Like, she sent me in there by myself. I'm traumatized. I've never done it again. Never. And I was like 6.
I think I took something on accident. It wasn't nothing. It was something that I had went to church, and it was like a little, I don't know if you ever had like the pencil toppers. It's like
the erasers?
No, it was something else. It was like to cover the erasers, so you could just like take it off and like.
Oh, when they go.
Something like that. It was like a little bunny thing or whatever, and I just had it on my pencil when I came like from Sunday school or some shit like that. And
Sunday school.
Yeah, girl. I used to.
Okay.
I used to be in the Baptist.
Okay.
But. I was in, I went back in my car, and my mom was like, "Oh, where did you get that?" I was like, "Oh, I got it from church." She was like, "We need to go back and you need to give that back." I'm like, what?
She said you ain't stealing from church. That's what she said.
That too, because she was like, "You know who's watching?" I'm like, "Girl,
God."
Oh, okay, let's just give it. Let's just give it back. Let's just give. But it was innocently. I didn't fucking take it on purpose. So anyway. But
I took my shit on purpose. My mother sent me back in there by myself.
Wow.
She did not walk me in there. She was like...
She said, face the music,
yeah,
nigga.
She was like, return this, apologize. I was like, you not gonna... No. I was in there crying.
Oh, my God. It was, I think, realizing certain things in adulthood from your childhood or, like, what other people told you or taught you is important. Other than your mother, do you feel as if you learned from other adults around you and saw certain things in them that you either carried on or you just learned from and was like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that shit when I get of age?
Oh, absolutely. Especially, people in my family and stuff like that, just watching them, a lot of them struggle with drugs or just, not fulfilling the things that they want to fulfill. Like, I'm trying to be very careful with my words here because there's no right or wrong way to go about your life, right? So it was just like little things like that, and then so one thing I will say is that the financial literacy part I didn't get too much of growing up. And I think that's just not a me thing. It might be a Black community thing. Majority of us don't.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of negative connotation, especially around credit in our community and stuff like that.
Girl.
We do suffer from those consequences because we just weren't taught
that.
You know. But nothing at a little research and looking up and
YouTube videos.
YouTube University, all that shit.
My father did definitely. He sat us down, like my dad, that and Black history.
And I can tell, especially with money, the way you break down money and how you look at it and stuff like that, I could tell you were definitely,
He was not playing about that because he definitely made it known because, of course, we hear credit cards. And, of course, some Black people are reluctant to get credit cards. I'm a little a little fearful myself. At the same time, I understand. I understand it's needed to play this system, this jacked up system we got going on with credit.
But we're so scared of it as a community just because of, you know, us just not having the proper knowledge about it.
And when my mom had broke it down, because my dad was like, you know, he broke it down to me, but in my head at that young age, I'm like, just don't get a credit card.
Yeah.
Like, just don't get a credit card. You're fine. But when my mother had broke it down to me, like when I was in college, she was like, listen, you could get it if you want to. I just need you to take on that responsibility of paying it back.
You got to pay it
because
back.
If you don't pay it back, then now you're in debt, and you don't want to be in debt. That was my mom and dad's biggest thing. Do not be in debt. Do not owe anybody anything in this world except some love. Like, don't owe them like shit. And that was my really biggest thing. Like, I don't care if I got $20 and I owe you $15. I will take my $5 ass and be happy and say, no, take your $15 right now and not wait. Because I wouldn't want that type of burden. But I think moving into adulthood, it does prevail. And especially just making sure I was educated on that was very important. Also Black history. Because now that I'm an older Black woman, I'm like, dang. Nobody know about Tucson, Hottentotten. Nobody knows about, like, my father used to sit down and, like, let us listen to Malcolm X and Martin Luther King tapes, like the cassette tapes, and compare the two on Sundays. Like, after we stop going to church, we would sit down and, like, I need you to compare the two.
She was at school on Sundays.
Girl, yes, I was. I was. He was like, no. You need to know these certain things, because when you get in the world, people are going to try to sway your opinion about certain things, and you're very valuable, especially you being a Black woman. Yeah. You're very, very valuable. And I think I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things I appreciate that.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's so dope. I would have loved to experience that. But also me coming into adulthood or trying to figure out how to navigate it also came with me trying to, you know, be more connected or identify my womanhood. They kind of went hand in hand.
Oh my God.
Not just any womanhood, my Black womanhood.
Black womanhood.
So it's like I couldn't go into adulthood without staring in and learning how to navigate that part of me as well. Yeah. Because they go hand in hand.
They do.
Very bad.
Very bad. Very good, but very bad.
And when it comes to just learning how to navigate or, you know, just become more familiar with my womanhood, I also had to relearn a lot of things because, you know, my mom's a wood crafter. She started off as a carpenter, which is a mostly male-dominated field. And then, like, she was so good, of course, like, eventually, like, she gradually moved up and, you know, got deemed a wood crafter. But she's not the most feminine woman. So I didn't learn those things or, like, how to express myself in the most feminine way or what that means to me, like identifying my femininity, you know? Like, so those were things that I'm very much so learning in my adult years with the help of, you know, other Black women around me, you know? So
that's important.
Yeah, it's super important.
Womanhood right now to me is, it's so beautiful, but it's so much to engulf. I'm just like, okay.
It comes with a lot.
It comes with so much. Like, I've had to sit and get my Moesha on and, like, write down certain things.
Oh, my.
Like, girl, I did. I'm in there, like, in my room, like, writing. And sometimes I'll be like, you know what? I did realize this. Like, I'm realizing a lot of things 5 years ago, Vina does not appreciate or does not serve at all, especially me being an adult. At all. As much as I thought I was an adult at my, like, young ass age, like at 20 or 21 or whatever.
Baby.
Like,
21 is a baby.
20, 21, 19. And I'm like, I know what I want. I'm very, very confident in the things that I do because the way I navigate certain things sometimes is just like, well, not very confident. I figure things out as I go, pretty much. I do.
But also, like, don't discredit younger 21, 22, 23-year-old Vina. Those things were the things that you want. Or wanted at the time, and that's okay. When you got older, it's okay to change your mind. Those are things that do not serve me anymore.
But you do know, like, there are some things that I'll look back at, like, older journals, because I got older journals.
That's amazing.
I go back and I read. I'm like, oh, wow, there's certain things I want to revisit, but I can't. And I feel the grief part. I feel the grief part, and it's like, oh my goodness. I wish I could do these certain things kind of sort of, but I can't do that in the stature that I'm in. Not trying to say that, oh, I can't do it, like it's out of my capacity, but it wouldn't serve me in this day and time because I just can't lounge about all day and not be productive. I can take breaks. Don't get me wrong. Rest and ease is important. But there are certain things I just can't like waste time. Like I had more free time 2021, but now I have a more rigorous type of schedule where I could still include ease or it's like still include rest, but I can't do it as much as I did, or even the people that I hang around. Yeah. And I think that's more important as we grow into adulthood. And that's why I asked you, do you feel as if there are certain things that you revisit, or you look back on like, oh wow, I wish I could not do it, but like, oh yeah, I do remember that time, whether it be people or like situations or like activities that you did before when you was like younger that now you're in, young adulthood, like structured young adulthood. How do you feel about those?
So I am definitely like a memory and feeling hoarder. Like, not gonna lie, I revisit a lot of things. I was talking with my friend and we kind of came up with the conclusion that time travel isn't a physical thing, it's here. So, like, a lot of times I do go back and just, think about different things and different experiences that I've had. But, of course, I do understand that those times are long gone. Like, that feeling is gone. We could go back and cherish it, and I do for what it was, but now I'm in a different place, and I'm aware, like, even looking back on past situations, like, it's all right, maybe I could have handled that a little different. Right. I wouldn't do that now if it happened today, I would not do it. I just wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it.
We both wouldn't do it, because
I wouldn't do it.
It's not something that's beneficial. I mean, as we go along now, I'm pretty sure in like the next 5 years, we're going to look back and be like, oh yeah, we used to do X, Y, and Z. And now it's like certain things that we used to do. It's like, we moderate it, if anything. And it's so crazy because how you said like the time travels in your head, like it really is. Your mind could.
It could take you completely back. Like, when I really go back and deeply think about different experiences, I could go so deep into it that I could remember the smells or like how it feels in that moment and stuff like that. Girl, I'm a professional time traveler.
Hopefully, that's the thing in like mental health and like therapy and certain therapy
to like recall something, right?
When they asked you something, so if like a practitioner would ask you, oh well, can you tell me about the time on like July 6th, and somebody would go like this, and they'd be like, yeah, it was raining. It'll probably and it was really hot, and they'll be like probably do something like this. Yeah, your body starts.
It takes you back. Time travel is mental. So like even still, just looking back at different things. What I really look back at now is more so my teenage years. Everyone focused so much on healing their inner child, but completely neglecting the fact that their teenage version of them is angry as hell.
Angry as shit.
Teenage Ro is so mad. She had so much going on. She needed help. She needed professional help. So, like, even now when I think about it, and because things often come back up, everything that you've learned or went through as a child, it reappears in your adult life in different ways, whether it's down to the niggas that I go for or just how I communicate and how I react to things. It all goes back. So I do spend a lot of time just kind of go back and trying to figure out what are my triggers or what I was feeling that I didn't have the language to articulate and express in that moment, and like just acknowledging that. So I do have like a lot of conversations like on my balcony when I'm smoking by myself. I have a lot of conversations with myself and making sure that I just address the younger versions of myself, because she was just trying to figure it out. I don't have it all figured out right now, but more than what I did then.
You're doing a great job, because teenage Vina is...
Yo, that's the hard work. That's the shadow work.
Oh my gosh, she's so odd, but she's so loving and sweet. Yeah, she's so odd and angry.
And the stories you've told me, like, yes, definitely go revisit that.
So I touch on her a little bit here and there. I think she would think I'm like pretty cool. Like, this is cool as hell.
See, but you like you said, you touch on her a little bit. We completely neglect the teenage versions of ourselves, and we just heal the child. And it's like, goddamn, children be happy with anything. Like, whatever work you do to heal your inner child, she's fine. It's the teenager that's mad as fuck. The teenager's mad as fuck. Young Rochelle is completely satisfied with doing a series of Alice in Wonderland. That's her favorite movie. She loves it. Fine. She's happy. It's teenage Rochelle that got the issues, like, with everything. So bad.
Doug, that's so real.
So bad.
Oh, my God. Do you feel as if when you came to the epiphany, like, this is adulthood, what happened, or did anything happen?
I could tell you the exact moment. It was when I got kicked off my mom's insurance. Health insurance. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, I'm a fucking adult. I got to figure this shit out. And I got to go to the doctors.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was like,
God.
of course, up until then, because I haven't been back home since I went to college.
Yeah.
So, of course, I was still paying bills and blah, blah, blah.
Whatever.
But that moment when the health care got snatched, I was like, so I'm on my own?
Pretty much, nigga. Pretty much. Like, you're out of there. Damn.
It was that. Like I said, I've been paying bills, the car, all that shit. But it was that moment where the insurance left the fucking table. I was like,
the benefits,
fuck, yeah.
The benefits.
It's like, oh, maybe I should go get a regular fucking job. Like, I need a 9-to-5 or something.
401k, something. Like, oh my God. I think mine started to, I think it was a conversation with you maybe, or it was with one of my friends, and it was like, I think it was you. And I think we were talking about, like, the shift and change of people, because you notice how, okay, this is what I noticed in high school when everybody started going to college, you know, it started being like a filter. Like, everybody's starting to find themselves, you know. College people go in there and they, it's another wave. It's another wave of finding yourself. It's another way of finding friends, making lifelong friends, if anything, having new experiences. You're, like, on the line or still, like, young teenager, but, like, stepping a little bit into adulthood, but nothing really too serious. I call college, like, play life. Like, we had money, apartments, and everything.
Definitely play life.
Yeah, so, like,
Barbie world. For sure.
So you're just, oh, that's funny as hell.
For sure.
And you're just in there, in that realm. But I think it was when I had, like, graduated my master's and stuff like that. And
I remember
that's when
that
COVID
version of you so well.
Oh, girl, that was,
I remember that.
She's something, child. Yeah. Beautiful, but golly, girl. I think it was when COVID had hit, and I was working at Foreman Mills before COVID.
Say it loud and proud.
Foreman Mills. Say it loud and fucking proud. Oh my God. That was something. But I had worked there and COVID had hit. And afterwards, like, everything kind of, like, started opening up because everybody was stagnant for a while, but everything started to open up and I was starting to look for things. I was trying to find my way and doing things. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I go back to Foreman Mills. And he was like, you know, you don't have to go to Foreman Mills, right? And I was like,
you don't have to.
I was like, oh.
You was really, because the way I was hearing it as, like, my best friend talking to me, you're complaining about this job that you hated going to, and you made it seem like it was the end all be all. I'm like, wait, Dina, you know you can quit, right?
I don't have to do, like, I have my master's in social work, right?
You had so much, but you were doing a lot at that time.
Yeah, I was.
Like, you were also working and then going to school. Like, it was a lot you were doing. So just wiping that shit that you didn't even want to do off your plate was nothing in my mind. Like, get that shit out of here.
I was like, yeah, because I want to go into social. I want to go to my field. You was like, you don't got to go to, like, Foreman Mills. You know that, right? And I was like,
you can quit.
And that gets me back to, like, when I was younger, the freedom that I admired about the younger, like, the counselors, everybody just able to, we better go out to eat. Like, that had came back to me. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm an adult because I could do whatever I want.
To. And I remember your reaction. You literally paused and was like, oh. Like, yeah, like, girl, quit.
Because you think, because we're, not conditioned, but, you know, I was in that condition of going to school, you're in school, you go to the next grade, you stick with whatever you got with, you know, and it wasn't nobody, like, placed it on me, but that's kind of, like, how I was conditioned. Like, okay, I went to my undergrad, go to grad school, after grad school, what do you gotta do? You gotta find a job to pay for something, whatever, take certifications, whatever the case may be. But the epiphany of it all, I was just like, oh shit, I can do whatever I want.
Yes.
And then after that, I was like, okay.
Not to say you, like, also didn't deserve the break.
Yeah.
You were doing a lot for
I was doing
a long period of time. Like, it was okay.
And then just getting into it, more, I had bought a car on my own. And I was like, oh, shit. I'm an adult. Yeah. Like, it was so scary, but I'm like, oh, I could do things.
You're literally the curator of your life. And that's what adulthood is too. Realizing that you can change whatever circumstance. Now, some stuff, I'm not talking about all things, but you yourself, you're literally the curator of your life and how it goes. And once I realized that too, after I was in my feelings a year ago, I was like, oh, nah, I need to do this art shit.
Yeah.
Like,
you took it by the reins. Just take it.
Man.
Take it.
It's so crazy, like, because that's what you have to do, especially in the field that I'm in. So I was recently voted Best of Baltimore.
Okay, now, Best of Baltimore,
in the visual
artist category.
But the funny thing about that award is that, granted, there's no denying the work that I do. People will see my name in that magazine and be like, okay, well deserved.
People will see you. I'm trying, mark my word. Give it, I want to say, I don't even give you that long. Give it another year and a half.
Yeah, it's only been a year.
I won't say it's only been a year. Give it another year and a half, you're going to start seeing things of you in certain places like Easter eggs.
I hope so.
I really do believe that.
I hope so. And that's really the goal. But like I was saying, the funny thing about this award is that it was a numbers game. So anyone, it was me and like maybe, I think my mom said 100 other artists. It was a numbers game. Now, like I said, if people see my name in a magazine, if I got it, no one would second doubt it because the work that I do is undeniable. But because it's a numbers game, it's up for grabs. Anyone could get it. It's all about the votes. That's what I was like. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, Rochelle, you feel like you deserve this award. Go get your fucking award.
Go get it.
So you was posing it. Yana was getting everybody. Yana was getting everybody at her job to sign up. It was a numbers game. It was about votes. And at the end of the day, it didn't matter what my talent or skill level was. I just needed the votes. So we did the groundwork. We went out there and got my fucking award.
Thank you very much.
Like, that's all it was. Anyone could have fucking won it, but it took me saying, nah, that's my award. Let me just go get it. My mom sent it out to my entire family. Like, I was sending it to people. I didn't post it on social media at all, probably until like the last day, like the opening, like because it's really not about that. Get out there and do the groundwork for real.
Right.
Like,
and do you think that, I know younger Rochelle's looking at you and is like, yeah, this is lit. But
she's confused.
Really?
Maybe.
Why do you think she's confused?
She ain't want to do nothing but just draw. So she might be happy.
I was going to say,
she might be happy.
I remember like when I was working at this other job that I wanted to leave and I left. But when I was working at the house, I was working at the house with the individuals, and we would have these conversations, and I'm like, dog, I can't wait till you mature. And this is so beautiful. It's like, yes, to see you as older, Black woman, adult Rochelle, and it's like, this is something that we've talked about that you've talked about for me. Like, you're like, Vita, all I want to do is just paint and draw. And so I'm like, okay, so you can do that.
Yeah, it was just a lot of stuff. I was also young. Like, shit really don't click until you're 25, and then 26 makes it happen, and then 27 you reap the benefits. Like, that's normally how it goes. And, I really wasn't applying myself the way I should, but there were also different factors, like the relationship I was in, yada, yada. I couldn't. Like, I couldn't. Like, a lot of stuff goes into that. So it was just, I'm so glad that I finally woke up a year ago and was like, nah.
I mean, and then that's that
time. It's me. I'm the one. I'm the chosen one.
And like how you said, oh my God, yes.
I'm the chosen one.
But when you said there's no right or wrong way for you to live your life, like, you know what I'm saying? And not trying to say anything, I don't wish any harm or bad on anybody, because to endure some type of stuff, like, sometimes we have to go through things, but at the same time, I'm just like, I don't wish that on nobody. But maybe did you feel like those trials and tribulations you had to go through, or was like it kind of,
I think
you could have still learned and been at the same place without that?
So I'm really in between, thinking that, excuse me, what the fuck? All right, thinking that everything does happen for a reason. But I'm also acknowledging the fact that some spaces I did stay too long. Like, okay, the lesson is this. get the hell out of there, Rochelle.
Right.
A lot of times I am staying around a little too long, and that, prolongs it and have me endure things that I really probably shouldn't. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. I do think everything has taught me a lot, like different things from different, people, different experiences. And yeah, they all kind of play a part into who I am today. Yeah, whether it's good or bad. Beautiful. We take so much from the people around us, and we don't even notice it.
I realize that when I'm like as an adult,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, if I am to have a child as of right now, everybody around myself will affect that child.
Yes, we pick up so much. Like, let's say I'm chilling with one of my younger cousins and we're drawing and stuff like that. And the basic thing I go to when I draw with little kids is like a house, a sky, and some grass. The way I draw grass is the way that Dominic drew, like my cousin Dominic drew grass with me when I was younger, when he used to draw with me. And he's so fucking funny. He was like, bro, I always knew you'd be an artist. I was like, why? He was like, every time we was younger, you'll come up, come draw with me? Like, he was like, you used to do that all the time. And I remember, and the way I draw grass is the way Dominic drew grass when I was like 5.
Wow.
So much, like even the way we write our different letters, so much of who we are today it's just a combination of the people in our lives that we've experienced.
Yeah. Dang.
It's so crazy.
It's so crazy because it's like you never know where did you get this from, because a lot of the times you're like, damn, where I got this from.
When you really, I'll say when you think about it, so much. I always say like the best parts of myself are instilled in me from my aunt. The best parts. All of them. Every last one. Everything that people comment like, it's just, it's her. It's her.
I think that's beautiful. I don't know if
people live through you. People live through
I was
you.
gonna say, I don't know if that's maybe their like the spirit or like the oh my God,
couch shaking.
I don't know if it's just the manifestation in our minds of those people, the impact that they've left on us, and it comes through our own spirit, and it's like, oh shit, like I know where I got this from. And even me, girl, I know I got a lot from my mother, child. A lot where I've been able to filter it out, and some things I still have to catch a hold of. Wonderful
Everything's
woman,
not going to be positive.
Everything
and that's also
is not.
a part of adulthood, is realizing like there are negative things that you picked up on the way here that you have to unlearn and then relearn the right way.
I want to ask, do you have, if you can name 2 challenges and 2 joys of adulthood, what would they be? 2 challenges and 2 joys.
Did you hear my stomach?
No.
Okay. But
hopefully no one else heard it. Go ahead.
No, they heard it. But so 2 challenges would be how to properly express myself when I am feeling away. I definitely grew up in a space where it was like, as long as you got clothes on your back and shoes on your feet, you have nothing to be upset about. Vina, you know myself. I had a lot to be upset about, right?
Yes.
So just growing up, and it's not something that just happened yesterday. This is stuff that I've actively started to change once I realized this shit ain't cool. Like, my freshman year in college, Yana tell you, I was horrendous. My attitude was terrible, like a loose cannon for real. And eventually, maybe probably around sophomore, junior year, I'm like, nah, this ain't. So I've been doing the work on that. And the way I react to stuff now is completely different from even the way I react to stuff a year ago. Shit can piss me off today, and I can still like keep it together and still articulate myself in a way that isn't just pure rage.
That's good.
Right? What's another challenge? Basically navigating or just coming to the terms that everything and everyone can't come with you. And it's so sad. It's so sad because you want everyone to come. It's so sad. It's like that's the type of stuff that make me cry. Like, I be wanting to bring everyone and everything with me, but that's just not how it goes. Right. And I was having a conversation with Sola like probably a few months ago. It was around the time of my birthday. And I was just like, I just don't want people to feel like I've changed. And Solo's like, well, you got to throw that out the window because the fact of the matter is you are going to. you are.
Point blank, period.
Like, you're going to change.
Point blank, period. It's going to have to happen.
It's going to happen. Like, it's one of those things. Like, throw that out the window now. You're going to change. Yeah. And that's just the fact of the matter. And just, you know, coming to terms with it, that everyone can't go with you no matter how bad. It doesn't mean that the love is lost.
But it's you can't.
In this season of my life, though, it just doesn't make sense for me. I still love you. There, whenever you need me, I'm still there 110%. But some stuff is just, you know. Anyway, on to lighter things. What was the
2 joys?
2 joys.
About adulthood.
That I get to curate whatever the fuck I want in my life.
Hello.
It's something so
freedom.
Freeing. Yeah. So freeing. I be talking to people, I'm like, yeah, if I don't got no project going on, I'm actually a bum. Like,
you're not. I'm
Vina.
We're gonna stop this right now.
Vina, what do I do? When I'm not just because I have the money to cover it, what do I do? I sit on the couch. I sit in my bed. I eat. I talk shit.
Because you give a lot already out.
And that's fine. But,
okay.
Yes, I do nothing. When
ahead.
I'm not working on stuff, I literally do nothing. And I think that's
I think it's relaxing, but.
I do too. And honestly, I really think when I'm not working on projects, I should be propped up and just I should be getting hand massages and people hand feeding me grapes. That's what I want to do. That's the goal when I'm not working on something. But I think that's pretty cool how I make my own schedule. Like, that's been a joy, you know, because these projects do be stressing me the hell out. But just having the luxury to be able to sit back and do absolutely nothing is a joy of my adulthood, my particular adulthood.
Joy.
What's another thing? Of adulthood, just being able to experience people that I want. Okay. I have full control over it. And it kind of touches on the first one, but I have full control over everything in my life. I control what I listen to. I control the people that I'm around, who I want to talk to. Like, if I don't feel like being around someone, I'm not going to that shit. Like, no, but I'm not going. No issue, but I'm not going. I'm staying home. I don't want to eat that. I'm not doing that.
That's not what I want.
Yeah.
So somebody saying, no, just eat this. You'll be nope, that's not what I want. I'm gonna go get this.
But granted, I will try things. I try everything. No. But yeah, just being able to, my joy in my adulthood is just being able to curate my life the way I want. In my career, my personal life, you know, with platonic relationships and romantic. You know, I have a lot more confidence and, you know, self-esteem to where if shit really ain't what I want, I'm definitely walking away from it. I don't have time.
I got time for this shit.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
So we came to the part of the show where I get your business. Confession time question.
Okay.
I was like, wait, what? Like, what?
Like, okay.
So my confession time question, more so it's a dialogue. What would you expect and what would you say to Rochelle, let's say 35-year-old Rochelle? What would you expect and what would you say?
What would I say?
What would you expect? Yes.
Oh, yes.
And what would you say?
What would I say? Yes. What do I expect? Rochelle, because I do kind of separate the two now that I have to, Rochelle and Roe Vision.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, only certain people now I'm kind of putting my foot down on that. Like, only if you're close to me, like, it's Rochelle. That's a more personal. Yeah, and that's a way for me to separate my personal life from my job as well.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so what I would say to Rochelle and Roe Vision, the first thing I would say is, was it fucking worth it? Like, did it pay off? Was it worth it? But what do I expect? That's a bad motherfucker. I can't wait. I don't even know what to expect because I think what I would even think about what I would be doesn't even stand close to what I'm actually going to be.
Talk on it.
Yeah, for real. Like, she's going to be different. She's going to be so fucking different, and I can't wait. I cannot wait. But stable career, like, really make an imprint in this art scene, not just in Baltimore, but all around, you know. That's pretty much it. That's all I could ask for.
That's all you could
That's all I could ask for.
What would you, let's say, what would you, oh, you already said we would ask her, like, was it
worth it? Like, yeah. Did this shit pay off? Because let's be honest, the journey hurts. I was talking to somebody the other day. I'm like, man, sometimes I wish I could just fast forward to the end. Like, I would love to, because this shit right here, just going through the motions and figuring it out, is growing pains. This shit hurt. I'm uncomfortable as fuck. I am uncomfortable as fuck.
Talk about it, because...
But it's cool.
It's fun.
It's cool.
It's
fun. I am having fun.
A hell of a ride.
This is the most fun I've ever had in my life.
Fun as hell, but it's like, oh my God, why I got to do this?
Yeah.
Another confession time question that I did have a part of that was, what are some things do you feel as if you need to polish up on in your adult life, if there are any things, and how would you do that, or how would you continue to polish up on them?
In my adult life,
there's certain things that you would want to polish up on.
Yeah, just being more assertive and articulating and voicing what I need.
Okay.
So, like, a lot of times I will take the short end of the stick if it makes other people feel comfortable.
Hell no.
Yeah, hell no. Especially, I find myself doing it. I did it so much in my personal life. I do it in my professional
it starts
as
to
well.
Leak in.
It starts to seep in, and it's like, bitch, no. Like, I'm not doing that shit. And no, I'm not taking the short end of the stick either. Like,
because you do not deserve that.
At all. So, really, it's just about standing up for myself in certain situations. Not to say that I don't. Yeah. I very much so do. I just think I need to do it a little more. And I feel like when women are assertive, especially Black women, it's so easy for us to get labeled as a bitch. Or it's a lot of negative connotation around that. But when our male counterparts do it, that's not the case.
Real ass nigga, that nigga, yeah. And what?
That nigga's a boss.
Yeah, we're
no.
Both things can coexist, but I do believe that women need to, especially women who have their own brand, who have their own business, need to.
In anything, whenever you got to stand 10 toes, and it brings me back to the GBC conversation when I was talking about, the woman I was in contact with, and I said, like, she was a boss bitch, and it really wasn't her being a bitch. Like, whenever the times I did disagree with some of the things or the way she went about it, no, that was her doing her job, and well at that.
Right.
At that. It may not resonate with me in that moment because I'm on the other side of it, but no, she's handling her shit. Right. And it is nothing wrong about that. Nothing wrong about that. I love
y'all handle y'all shit.
Handle it. Handle it.
So thank you so much. That is all the time we have today. I appreciate you. I'm so proud of you.
I love you so much. I love you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you want to hold my hand?
Yes. Thank you so much for coming on the Confession Corner and having this conversation with me.
No problem. I love coming up here. I'm so proud of you, too.
Thank you.
This is, look at your baby. Love it. So proud of you.
Yes. Thank you. So I'm your host, Vina. That's all the time we have today. This is Roe Vision. This is the Confession Corner, and we are out. Peace.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.